President Obama is warning state quarantine rules could undermine efforts to stop the spread of Ebola. We look at how the epidemic is affecting business and trade worldwide. Good evening, I'm Gwen Eiffel.
And I'm Judy Woodruff. Also ahead this Tuesday, the money, the finger pointing, and the hostile TV ads in North Carolina's hotly contested race that could help decide control of the Senate.
It kind of depends on how you view politics. Some people view it as a sport, right? So it's my team versus your team. So whoever has the most money can have a better ground game, because now you need money for television, print, social media, everything else.
Then, with shifting front lines in Iraq, the displaced are on the move, struggling to stay one step ahead of the advances of Islamic State militants. Those are some of the stories we're covering on tonight's PBS NewsHour.
From President Obama today, a new call for caution in the response to Ebola. He urged states not to enforce policies that suggest the U.S. is shying away from the fight. The warning came as another Dallas nurse was declared free of the deadly disease. Amber Vinson was all smiles at Atlanta's Emory University Hospital this morning.
As a nurse, and now as someone who has experienced what it's like to be cared for through a life-threatening illness, I am so appreciative and grateful for your exceptional skill, warmth, and care.
The 29-year-old Vincent is the second of two Dallas nurses to be cured of Ebola. They caught the virus from Thomas Eric Duncan, a Liberian man who died at a Texas hospital. Dr. Bruce Ribner oversaw Vincent's care at Emory, but he concedes there are still unanswered questions.
Okay, we are not aware of the specific details of what occurred in the Dallas facility or how transmission occurred in that environment.
Equally unclear just how Vincent recovered so quickly. To that, the doctor said, the honest answer is we're not exactly sure. Another nurse, Casey Hickox, was back in Maine today after being held in an isolation tent at a Newark, New Jersey hospital. She treated Ebola patients in Sierra Leone, but has shown no symptoms herself. Authorities in Maine said she'll remain quarantined at home, but her attorney insisted no such arrangement is in place. Leading health officials have warned that quarantines may deter doctors and nurses from going to West Africa to help.
America cannot look like it is shying away because other people are watching what we do.
At the White House today, President Obama said the medical volunteers should be applauded and supported. But he also defended the decision to quarantine U.S. soldiers who serve in the Ebola zone.
The military is in a different situation, obviously, because they are, first of all, not treating patients. Second of all, they are not there voluntarily. It's part of their mission that's been assigned to them by their commanders and ultimately by me, the commander-in-chief. So we don't expect to have similar rules for our military as we do for civilians.
In addition, the Pentagon said the Joint Chiefs are recommending that all service branches quarantine their troops who serve in West Africa. Overall, the World Health Organization estimates 10,000 people have been infected there. But the head of the UN Ebola mission warned today the true number could be far higher. Anthony Banbury told the Associated Press, unfortunately, we don't have good data from a lot of areas. We don't know exactly what's happening. In the face of that uncertainty, the president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, appealed anew for outside help. She said the world must recognize that Ebola poses a global threat. President Obama plans to meet tomorrow with public health workers who have been to West Africa or plan to go.
Thousands of mourners in Canada paid respects today to Corporal Nathan Cirillo, the soldier killed in last week's shooting attack in Ottawa. Crowds lined the streets of Hamilton, Ontario, as throngs of military personnel somberly escorted Cirillo's coffin to the funeral service at an Anglican cathedral. There, Prime Minister Stephen Harper joined in remembering the soldier's life and sacrifice.
Our hearts are broken at his loss, but our spirits are grateful for his memory. Corporal Cirillo knew what all those men and women who died before him also knew. The only values really worth living for are those worth dying for.
Corporal Cirillo was one of 2 soldiers killed in separate attacks last week by what police said were Islamist radicals. The funeral for the other victim, Warrant Officer Patrice Vincent, will be Saturday in Quebec. Secretary of State John Kerry met today with Prime Minister Harper to convey American condolences.
1 week after the attack in Ottawa, security is being increased at U.S. government buildings. The Homeland Security Department said today it is a response to calls by terror groups to attack American interests and to what happened in Canada. The move affects unspecified sites in Washington and other cities. A college friend of the accused Boston Marathon bomber was convicted today of lying to FBI agents. A federal jury found Robel Philippos guilty of not telling the truth about being in Dzhokhar Tsarnaev's dorm room 3 days after the bombing. 2 other friends of Tsarnaev removed a backpack containing evidence. Philippos faces up to 16 years in prison.
Kurdish Peshmerga fighters from Iraq are now headed to Syria, hoping to slow the advance of Islamic State forces. The Kurds deployed today from Erbil in northern Iraq. They'll cross Turkish territory en route to the besieged town of Kobani, just inside Syria. A large convoy with heavy weapons was seen driving through Erbil today. Kurdish officials in Syria said the force also includes about 150 fighters.
Yard by yard, a slow-moving stream of lava closed in on homes today on Hawaii's Big Island. The molten rock began oozing from Kilauea volcano in June. The flow has consumed roads and burned vegetation along its way. And today it crossed onto residential property in the village of Pahoa. Evacuation orders have gone out, and officials plan to close several schools.
On Wall Street, stocks racked up new